Hey y'all, it's Joel. Wanted to continue today to read chapter 3 of Waking the Dead for you. And sorry, I'm kind of rumpled looking. I literally just I got up out of bed and at about 8 o'clock this morning and put some clothes on, went out for a walk. It's a beautiful day today, and sun's shining. There's not a cloud in the sky, and so I wanted to capitalize on the weather. It's a little chilly. It's a little chilly here out in my shop. And uh, so anyway, I'm going to pick up reading. I got partway through chapter 3 of Waking the Dead by John Eldredge, and I'll just pick up reading there. So here we go. This section is called The Point of All Living. I love watching a herd of horses grazing in an open pasture or running free across the sage-covered plateaus in Montana. I love hiking in the high country when the wildflowers are blooming, and the purple lupine and the Shasta daisies, the Indian paintbrush when it's turning magenta. I love thunderclouds, massive ones. My family loves to sit outside on summer nights and watch the lightning, hear the thunder as the storms roll across into Colorado. I love water too. The ocean, streams, lakes, rivers, waterfalls, rain. I love jumping off high rocks into lakes with my boys. I love old barns, windmills, the West. I love vineyards. I love it when Stacy is loving something. Love watching her delight. I love my boys. I love God. Everything you love is what makes life worth living. Take a moment, set down the book, and make a list of all the things you love. Don't edit yourself. Don't worry about prioritizing or anything of that sort. Simply think of all the things that you love. Whether it's the people in your life or the things that bring you joy or the places that are dear to you or your God. You couldn't love them if you didn't have a heart. A life filled with loving is a life most like the one that God lives, which is life as it was meant to be. Ephesians 5, verse 1 and 2. And loving requires a heart alive and awake and free. Of all the things that are required of us in this life, which is the most important? What is the real point of our existence? Jesus was confronted with the question point blank one day, and he boiled it all down to two things: loving God and loving others. Do this, he said, and you will find the purpose of your life. Everything else will fall into place. Somewhere down inside, we know it's true. We know love is the point. We know if we could truly love and be loved and never lose love, we would finally be happy. Gerald May wrote, "We are created by love to live in love for the sake of love." And it's even possible to love without your heart. And is it? That's a question. Sorry. And is it even possible to love without your heart? The heart is the connecting point, the meeting place between any two persons. The kind of deep soul intimacy we crave with God and with others can be experienced only from the heart. We don't want to be someone's project. We want to be the desire of their heart. May lamented, by worshiping efficiency, the human race has achieved the highest level of efficiency in history. But how much have we grown in love? We've done the same to our relationship with God. Christians have spent their whole lives mastering all sorts of principles, done their duty, carried on the programs of their church, and never known God intimately, heart to heart. There is that troubling passage Jesus gives us when he says that in the final account of our lives, some folks who did all sorts of Christian things will be genuinely surprised not to be invited into heaven. It reads, "Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not do all sorts of Christian things, amazing things?" And God will say, "I never knew you." Matthew 7:22 through 23. And the point is not the activity. The point is intimacy with God. Attend a class and take in information, then use that information to change the way you live. None of that will bring you into intimacy with God. Just as taking a course on anatomy won't help you love your spouse. You will find me, God says, when you seek me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29:13. What more can be said? What greater case could be made than this? To find God, you must look with all your heart. To remain present to God, you must remain present to your heart. To hear his voice, you must listen with your heart. To love him, you must love with all your heart. You cannot be the person God meant you to be, and you cannot live the life he meant you to live unless you live from the heart. The mission. This is absurd. I'm trying to tell you why you should breathe. Remember now, oxygen is crucial to your body's needs. All of the other functions depend on it. You should get plenty of oxygen every day. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Wonderful. Now, remember to do this every moment of every day. All my defense here seems so far from the actual experience of having your heart back. Go fall in love then. Do something heroic. Save someone's life. Spend a month in some breathtaking spot doing nothing productive at all. Take up planting. Have yourself a good laugh. The kind that sends tears down your face and makes you grip your sides for the ache of it. Listen to a beautiful piece of music. Live with courage. Tuck your child into bed. Listen to her prayers. Kiss her cheek. Find God. Then you will remember again that the heart is central, not the mind, not the will, but the heart. So what then is the heart? Heart in Scripture, notes Charles Ryrie, is considered the very center and core of life. That's right. The heart is the deep center of our life. The innermost part of the human personality, says James Houston, the center of those qualities that make us human. Yes, that's it. The heart is who we are, the real self. I think I like Oswald Chambers' definition most. The use of the Bible term heart is best understood by simply saying me. me. It puts us back together from all the psychological, scientific, and even theological dissection we've been handed by the modern era, and gives us back a whole self. Me. My heart is me, the real me. Your heart is you, the deepest, truest you. That is why the heart is central. For what shall we do if we dismiss our self? Christ didn't die for that idea. He died for a person, and that person is you. But there again, we've been led astray. Ask any number of people why Christ came, and you'll receive any number of answers, but rarely the real one. He came to bring world peace. He came to teach us the way of love. He came to die so that we might go to heaven. He came to bring economic justice. On and on it goes. Much of it based in partial truth. But wouldn't it be better to let him speak for himself? Jesus steps into the scene. He reaches back to a 400-year-old prophecy to tell us why he's come. He quotes from Isaiah 61:1, which goes like this. The Spirit of the sovereign God is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners. The meaning of this quotation has been clouded by years of religious language and ceremonial draping. What is he saying? It has something to do with good news, with healing hearts, with setting someone free. That much is clear from the text. Permit me a translation in plain language. God has sent me on a mission. I have some great news for you. God has sent me to restore and release something. And that something is you. I'm here to give you back your heart and set you free. Now, Christ could have chosen any one of 1,000 other passages to explain his life purpose. He is the sacrificial lamb, the root of Jesse, the morning star. But here, at the opening moment of his ministry, he chose this passage above all others. This is the heart of his mission. Everything else he says and does finds its place under this banner. I'm here to give you back your heart and set you free. That is why the glory of God is man fully alive. It's what he said he came to do, but of course, the opposite can't be true. The glory of God is man barely making it, a person hardly alive. How can it bring God glory for his very image, his own children, to remain so badly marred, broken, captive, alert, and oriented times 0? How we've overlooked this one of the great mysteries. How we've overlooked this is one of the great mysteries of our times. It's simply diabolical, despicable, downright evil that the heart should be so misunderstood, maligned, feared, and dismissed. But there's our clue again. The war we are in would explain so great a loss. This is the last thing the enemy wants you to know. His plan from the beginning was to assault the heart, just as the wicked witch did to the 10 woodsmen. Make them so busy that they ignore the heart, wound them so deeply that they don't want a heart, twist their theology so they despise the heart, take away their courage, destroy their creativity, make intimacy with God impossible for them. Of course, your heart would be the object of a great and fierce battle. It is your most precious possession. Without your heart, you cannot have God. Without your heart, you cannot have love. Without your heart, you cannot have faith. Without your heart, you cannot find the work that you were meant to do. In other words, without your heart, you cannot have life. The question is, did Jesus keep his promise? What has he done for our hearts? The answer will astound you. That's it for today. That's the end of chapter 3. Tomorrow, I'll start on part 2 of the book. And the chapter is entitled The Ransomed Heart, which is kind of at the crux of this book, the ransomed heart. You were bought, so your heart was ransomed. So have a great day. Peace, everybody. Have a good one.